Hello, how everyone's doing? I hope you're doing amazing. In today's session, I'm going to be talking about the habits. I'm going to be talking about a review or a first impression of the book Atomic Habits, my idea about it, and my honest opinion. I'm not a big fan of the book, yeah, but I am giving it a try, and I'm going to give you my honest first impression. So let's get started. So, I'll say as a person, I really don't like, I'm not a big fan of habits, at least at this stage, because I've read a lot of books about habits. I read the book, The Seven Most Effective Habits of the Highly Most Effective People, or something like that. I read a couple books about that. I read the summary of the Atomic Habits as well on YouTube. Like I watched the YouTube video like a few years ago. So I was pretty sure that I have the knowledge. I don't need to read the book again. Yet, I would say it had a little bit of interesting facts. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read the entirety of it. I just started it a couple of days ago. I read probably like the first 60 pages or so. So I think it's a pretty good first impression. That gives me a very good idea of what is it about. So, I'll say this book is a little bit interesting as it sort of breaks down the habits in a certain way. It's real. All the books that about habit, they all do it, and it's the casual bullshit. Oh, you have to do it slowly. Da da da. I don't really care about that stuff. Everybody knows it. But I'll say what's actually made it interesting a little bit is that he made a process of building habits. So like he says, so you build habits, yeah, but in order for you, or every habit goes through 4 stages. The first one is being obvious, or you notice the need. 2, it has to be easy, so like the difficulty of doing it. 3 is how fast you do it. And 4 is the reward. And he talks about how there's a mice and some bullshit, I don't really care, and some cats, and they did some experiments, and because they did it a couple times, it just gets faster. It's like the basic bullshit nonsense. It's not nonsense, but it's like, duh. So, here's my honest opinion about it. I would say, honestly, I wasn't going to read the book ever. I always say I will never read that book. The reason why I read it, or I'm starting to read it anyway, is because I really have this problem, or I really want to upgrade a certain aspect of my life, which is the speed. Right? And this is something that I learned from a lot of people, actually, including Andrew Tate. In his first courses out there, he talks about the number 1 rule is speed. It's like, okay, you're doing good, but okay, that's cool, you're doing good, da da da. But we're going to talk about how fast you're doing it, which makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. And I've been with a couple of successful people, yeah, from my family, da da da, and they are actually fast. They have a fast life. I don't get it. So, in order for me to actually learn that, obviously I do it and stuff like that. And even I started doing speed training, which I've never done. I always go long distances, marathons. Now I'm doing speed training because probably it has a relationship between the neurological aspect. I don't know. ChatGPT says some bullshit. I'm like, alright, bet, I'll try. Who gives a fuck, right? And that's the point, yeah? And even the same thing with the Atomic Habits. I was talking to ChatGPT. I said, hey, I gave them a very good prompt. And I said, I really want to be fast. And here's exactly how I want to be fast. And here's who I want you to be, all the details of the prompt engineering. And he says that one of the best books you can read is actually Atomic Habits. I said, I don't really care about habits. I'm all over, like, I'm very past that stage. I don't give a fuck, like, I don't have a problem with habits. Yeah. And he says, yes, I understand, but it's going to teach you how to do things faster, as you need systems to do them fast. And I think it's a pretty brilliant idea. When I heard it, I said, oh, well, that's pretty smart. The reason why, because I was thinking about the stuff that are fast in my life. I'm like, okay, there is this thing that fast, there is that thing that fast. I'm like, alright, that makes a lot of sense. And the more I think, the slower I get. So if there is a system that you just follow, usually it has to be faster because you never think. You're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and you repeat it 1, 2, 3, 4, and you repeat it 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's faster. So I don't really give a fuck about the habits. If I want to do something, I just do it. But with the speed, it's kind of interesting a little bit, and you understand about the rewards, or not the rewards, but like how to increase speed. And I would say, obviously, I read 60 pages. It's not enough, or at least for me, I didn't really get that doubling down on how to make things faster or life faster, just go through things, right? But I would say, like, I got like a two information from that book. Because I made this title about habits, I think it just only makes sense to talk about habits a little bit from the previous books that I've read, like The 7 Habits of the Most Highly Effective People. I'll say habits are interesting because they make who you are in general. I'll say it's more of the like this is the kids' play. Like habits are the basic. There is nothing more basics. There is nothing more basic than habits. Just basically, if you're gonna read about self-help books, self-development, you wanna make yourself better, that is the fundamental thing you gotta learn. Like the ABC is the habits. Then you gotta go to the other stuff. The first thing, the ABCs of the ABC, like the ABC of the habits, is habits don't start over day, don't end over day. You need time, you need time. Now, when you are a little bit advanced, I'd say like me, I just decide to do something and I just do it. I don't even think about doing it for a certain, I just do it, right? I wanted to go to the gym, I go to the gym. But the point is, it's more complicated now. Because you have vision boards, you have goals, you have a lot of skills that gets combined for you to go through something. And you're like, okay, then it's a habit, but I really don't give a fuck about habits. I don't even care, and I'm not even thinking about the knowledge in the book. But if you're gonna look about it, detail some nerd shit, you'll find yourself applying that, right? And I think it's very interesting. I'll say the basic thing that people are afraid to do when it comes to habits, including my friends, well, not my current friends, but the people I talk sometimes, they have a problem with starting small. If you want to do something, just do it small and shut the fuck up. If you want to train, I started training about 1 year ago. And I did 7 months of training this year in the gym, and the other months were pretty much workouts or in other places, not in my gym. But the point is, when I started, I did a 10-minute fucking workouts. I didn't do 1 hour and a half. I didn't do 45 minutes. I did 10 minutes workout because I knew if I start with 1 hour and a half, there is absolutely no fucking way in the universe that I'm gonna do it every day. It just doesn't make any sense. It's improbable, unlikely. I wouldn't say impossible, but it's not probable. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make it too easy. I'm a dumbass if I don't do it. 10 minutes. You can do warm-ups in 10 minutes. So I do warm-ups, blah, 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 and I do some push-ups, some set-ups, and here we go. We're done. A little bit of abs and a little bit of chest. Basically, like a couple push-ups and a couple sit-ups. You're gonna say, oh, you're gay. You're not gay. Because basically, that is better than doing no fucking training. Some training is better than no fucking training. And now, when you're like 1 month, 2 months in, obviously with the days, there's some days you feel a little bit more energized, you want to do half an hour, after you want to do 45, after you want to do an hour, after you do 1 hour and a half, etc. And then you get to the point where 1 hour and a half is like the routine. I'd say 1 hour and a half for me now is really a routine. Like I go, do this, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of workouts that I could do, but I couldn't do in just 1 hour and a half. And that's the point. If you want to make a habit, just start slow and be fucking humble. This is my lesson. Subscribe.